But
Whole Thanksgiving. Um, See, I'm a cynic to begin with. I took the
I
whole
know.
Thanksgiving story not even with a grain of salt, with a grain of rose-colored lemon.
I don't say everything I want to say because people are like, "What the hell is going on in your head, bro?"
You gotta
So
keep some. You gotta keep some of that festive.
I gotta.
Man, I went years and years and years thinking a pickle was its own thing. There was nobody. These poor people didn't know they killed all of Roxbury. It's like they showed up to Mattapan and they didn't get the word that Roxbury had gotten killed. And you're sitting there like, I know the secret. I'm just not telling y'all.
You're right. Because how Squanto not break down one night, just like, yo, can you pass me the butter? And just be, oh shit.
I've been a
My
slave in
mom's
Spain.
yeah, for real. Some type of PTSD? Nothing? He's just walking around. That dude's a psychopath, so
Squanto had some sociopathic issues.
he has some issues. He has some issues, man. And here's my second question. Like, how they not know? Well, you're right, because Squanto didn't tell anybody. I was gonna say, like, how they not know that these dudes are gonna one day come back? Because if they came back and they thought it was sweet and they took a whole town, they're gonna come back. But your point is Squanto didn't tell anybody.
Yeah,
He
well,
was just
I mean, I'm making a little light of it. Imagine if just all of Cambridge got killed one day. It's not like, I mean, you might not know the exact details, but you're gonna know something's fishy.
sums up.
You
Like,
have the dog up.
yo, you remember those dude you used to get corn from? Like cross nah, I ain't seen that dude in like
They're
years.
not answering the smoke signals anymore. Nobody's home.
Nah, yeah, you're right. Yeah, there's so many questions that I'm like, I don't think we would have went out like that.
I do have a lot of questions.
There's so many questions, but yeah, that's my Thanksgiving, man. Man, Thanksgiving is just like wild now, and I think about it.
I thought you were gonna somehow fill me in on how the turkey was involved, because that story right there that didn't show any turkeys. Meanwhile, turkey farms have one day a year to make back their money, and it's Thanksgiving. That seems like some turkey farmer back in the day got a wild idea and was like, we need to switch up this deer meat for turkey meat, make a killing.
I wouldn't be surprised, man. There's so many things, and then I grew up, like you said. I was watching a documentary because all true things happen in documentaries,
Of course,
and they were like Kellogg's were the one that made breakfast is the most important meal of the day,
that's funny. You should say that.
and
I
I was
wonder if
like,
you the same documentary that I was, right?
I'm like, man, I thought that was when somebody was like, yo, you can fast past breakfast. I almost wanted to have a fight, like, yo, you know what you're talking about. Breakfast is one of the
Breakfast.
most important meals of the damn day. You need to respect breakfast. Put some respect on breakfast's name.
Come to find out, that was just a marketing slogan.
It's a marketing slogan, son. I believe in a marketing slogan, but I believe in Nike. Some marketing slogans are good. I believe in Nike. Just do it.
Sure, sure. And did you hear about the backstory on how breakfast cereals came about? How it was a like a food substance they were trying to pass off on people to get them to be abstinent for sex and masturbation before marriage.
Come on, man. I like cereal.
Yeah, buddy. So the whole reason they came up with the dried cereal and the flakes and all that was they
Oh,
had these spas that they would send people if they were slightly sexually deviant, and it was all about trying to clear them up, clean them out, get them back into society correctly.
so you
And
telling me my cereal is some weird sex punishment?
yes, yes, they came up with a different way to get them those. I can't remember, was Kellogg the first guy? I can't remember who it was.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, it's a
Dudes,
while ago that I heard that documentary. It was
people are
all about.
evil, man. Like, why would you even do that to cereal?
See, now we're back to getting our childhood taken. When you find out the real deal, the backstory on something, like, man,
Um, Fuckers are just that is just mean spirited. Like cereals is one of them things. He's like, man, I want something to eat, but I'm too lazy to make something. And you have some cereal, and it hit the spot, especially with the cereal milk from the sugar.
Yeah, you got all the four food groups: sugar, wheat, milk, and cereal.
Well, all the time it was poisoning my body. It was trying to kill my kids, my
Hmm.
unborns.
Now, it was just trying to stop you from having the kids. Anyway, he was wrong.
Okay.
Everybody knows
All right,
cereal.
okay, cool. See, you gotta put a happy ending on this. You can't just leave it like some cliffhanger shit. Cause I so all right, go ahead. Tell it. I like the happy ending.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody knows. Everybody knows cereal's where it's at.
Okay. All right. That's cool. Yeah, we did get from Thanksgiving to cereal, but that's the beauty. That's the art of life right there, right there. I like that. This is how my mind works, and this is how I want my show to work.
Sure.
Because it's this I can
Just
bounce anything at you and you have different knowledge. And I'm like, all right, cool. And we can still have an intelligent conversation.
I don't know. We did kind of devolve into cereal. I don't know if we could still call it intelligent conversation, but
I mean, that's
we make.
quality TV.
What's that?
No, I said that's quality TV. My fault. Go ahead.
No, no, no. I was listening. So where were you going to go with this Thanksgiving? Well, okay, so A, what made you stumble across that cartoon, and B, what was your final takeaway on it?
So, hey, I started to figure out honestly that my life is kind of like a lie. Like everything that I thought was happiness, I feel like it was manufactured. Like it's like the Matrix. Like you find out you're living in the Matrix. It's different seeing it on a movie. You're like, that shit's cool. Then to wake up and it's really you. That's how I feel. Like I'm learning about so many things, and so many of my counterparts are like, I'm overwhelmed with hearing about different black topics because it feels like, what can I do? I'm like, well, on the flip side, I'm overwhelmed too. It's cool. It's not cool, but it's interesting because it's different when you find out things that you thought were concrete weren't concrete.
Hmm.
And what I mean by that is you start digging into your history, or you start hearing about your history from other people that are not even you, that don't look like you. And you feel a responsibility of, damn, I should have known that. Like, why don't I know that? And then why was it hidden from me? Like, why did I have to dig so deep to kind of find this stuff? And then you see things and you so subjected and conditioned. Like this, I work in Copley, and I never seen that statue that everybody had a problem with in Copley. I walked by it. Well, I seen it, but I never looked at it.
Okay, so I don't even know which statue you're talking about, but I guarantee you it hit my eyes and registered, but I don't even know what it was. Don't know who the statue was of.
It's
Never
like
read the plaque.
I think it's like a man with a slave, but the slave is like in a bowing, or the man or freedman, like he's freeing a man, but he's like bowing. It's like a weird. I know what it's supposed to be, but it's like demeaning in a way.
I think I heard about that. It's like he freed some slaves, so it was celebrating him being so liberal thinking. But the statue itself was of natives or of black people kneeling before the the, the
I think
powerful white
so.
guy.
I
Yeah.
think so. But
Well,
I mean,
I I, I feel ashamed because I definitely have passed it. I've been all through Boston. There's no way I haven't seen it, but I've never seen it, like you said.
you probably exactly you put it in perfect words. Like I've seen it, but I never paid attention to it. And I'm just gonna be open and real with you. I don't look at half these statues. Like sometimes I used to walk down the commons because it was peaceful and there's flowers and stuff.
Hmm.
But then I started to get kind of like depressed because I would look at the statues and I would look at everybody coming to see the statues and take pictures of them. And I'm like, that dude probably has slaves. I've been
Right.
feeling like this for like the last 2 years before all this boiled over. Like I went to the art museum with David, and I was looking at all these pictures and all these artists and different people from different parts of the world. coming to see this art, and I can't help but think, yo, they probably had slaves. Like I'm going to see all this stuff, but it it was like my people's blood involved in it.
Hmm.
So it didn't help. It's things started to not. It started to become gray to me because things didn't hold the same meaning anymore. Like I'm like, none of this shit's real. It is real physically, but from emotional place, I felt the sense of being numb.
But that celebration of it doesn't feel right anymore.
No, and I think that's kind of a bad thing too. Like I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing. Yeah,
I don't
that is a
know.
question.
Depends on how you what the takeaway is, I think, or how you feel about it in the end. It's one thing to be enlightened, to know the truth, to know the real story about something is a powerful thing. But then on the other hand, it could make you sad that, kind of like you said about taking your childhood, it can make you sad to know these things you thought about. Instead of being such a black and white line, there was much more middle ground, or much more in the dark side that you were hoping. You know, I know what you mean about that guy probably had slaves. You got to think there's a whole section of our history, a big section of our history, where anybody that was written about probably had slaves, was complicit in slavery, or made money off of slavery, or perpetuated slavery, even if they didn't even have the slaves. There's a mark on that. There's a negativity involved with a huge section of our American heroes, you could say. So I don't know. They say that ignorance is bliss. The less you know, the happier you are, and that's that power struggle with the people that know, the people that have the money want people to not know and to keep them ignorant and happy.
This is what I was gonna hit you with. You're all right. There is nuance to it, but it would be like you like Hamilton, right?
Sure.
You love that play, right?
Yep.
What if Hitler wrote that shit?
Right.
Would you be able to separate the fact that this dude tried to wipe out a whole this race of people, but he wrote some fly shit?
Well, I'll give you a couple examples, some true to life examples. I've got a a friend of mine that I know that's got some political leanings that I'm not a fan of, and I'm having a hard time separating out the good about the friend versus the political leanings that are abhorrent to me. So it's a tough answer. Second, second answer, which of me maybe applies a little bit more to your Hitler analogy. Well, A, if I knew Hitler wrote it in advance, I probably would have never seen it. But if I saw it first and didn't know that Hitler wrote it, and I already loved it, it would feel a lot like some R. Kelly songs to me.
I was
Because
about to
I
say that.
love that dude's music,
I was
but
about to
then
say
I
that.
found out the dark side, it's too late. I already still get down to bump and grind.
Yep.
But halfway through the song, I'm thinking some weird thoughts about who he was writing it to.
It,
It's still the jam.
I was gonna go there, and and I gotta say this. Even when you say it, it hurts my stomach. Like it hurts
Right?
me bad when you say the word R. Kelly. If Hitler wrote Hamilton, I couldn't do it because it's the same way I can't mess with R. Kelly because I'm always gonna see those little girls.
Yep. Do you try to tell me R. Kelly song comes on, remix to Ignition comes on, your head's not bumping?
No, I will fight every beam in my body to not. And I think I don't even know if I can. Like I feel like a deep pitted sickness when you say R. Kelly,
Yeah.
and I shouldn't. I should feel that way, but there's like the Jeffrey Epstein's that no one talks about, like R. Kelly on steroids times 10.
Yep.
No, we
Yep.
don't talk about. Like that story is. You ever did? Have you seen that?
Ah,
Seen the documentary?
no, I don't want to. I mean, know enough of the story to be disgusted. I don't need to know the full extent.
I had to. I have daughters, man. I got to see how these minds work.
Yep.
But it was so insane that I had to. like sometimes I had to turn it off a little bit to take a break and go back in. It, it was,
Regroup a little bit.
I had to regroup. I had to regroup. I had to watch something stupid like The Office or something that's kind of like free up, like reboot, like a computer.
Yeah.
But I'd go back in. I'm like, yo, this dude was a sick genius. Like he would just get dirt on the most. He'd pick out the most. You know how they say, if you want to make change, influence the influencers. He's the opposite. He would get dirt on the influencers and then leverage the influencers.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yo, I've never seen anything like that. B, yo, they finally caught this dude for the umpteenth time, right? Let's just say
Right.
this is the
Right.
let's say it's the 15th time, right?
Right.
After two times, I'm going away forever. But he's all right. He's in court again. They got him this time. They got all the evidence. They got cases. They got witnesses. They never had witnesses before. Everybody's raring to go. This is Monday Night Football right now. Judge comes out. Game's over. We're calling the game off. Cancels the case and walks back into her chambers or his chambers. You know how bananas that is?
Really? That happened?
Yo, I'm telling you, you gotta. Yo, when I
He,
you see the
he had dirt on the judge, or he had dirt on a politician that had the finger on the
they
judge.
didn't say that, but I'm thinking he had to have some serious dirt because the judge came out, case dismissed, boom, 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 and you just see the attorneys, you see everybody like,
What just happened?
what are you talking about? I'm like, what are you talking about? I was holding my head in my house like, yo, what just happened? The judge just turned around, called the game off.
Just gaveled it up. You better put down that gavel, dude.
I tapped out. I tapped out on Surviving R. Kelly. I never tapped out in a documentary before. The Aaliyah part came on. I was like, like I was like, I gotta turn it off. I gotta turn it off.
That joint was in our face. Like we knew about it. Everybody knew about it.
That wasn't a good day for our generation.
No.
It was a dark day for us, man. Like we we we
You see that show, The Boondocks,
yeah,
the cartoon?
all the time.
Yeah, yeah. Wonderful, beautiful. Love that show. You saw the episode about R. Kelly?
When he was like, "Are y'all really gonna let this dude dance on top of a table and get
Yes.
out?"
Yes.
And he went into why he got locked up. He's like, "You should be ashamed of yourselves." And then I think he jumped in the car to step in the name of love or something.
Yep.
And
But everybody knew. We all knew. You knew.
it was so spot on.
Yes.
And I loved that
We all
episode.
knew. The beats were just too good.
I dropped the
He
ball.
sang and danced his way into our hearts, and we didn't. It took one of the victims telling us what was up for us to really be like, okay, wait a minute.
You know what? You got a nice background there. I can't. That's that nice. That background's nice, man. It's really classy.
Thank
I
you.
can't.
Thank you.
I can't do it. It makes me sick. Like just sick to my stomach. Because you're right, and I'm like, damn it, man. What was I thinking? But you got a black globe. Yeah, what is that made out of? Like onyx?
What's that?
I said you got a black globe behind you. What is that made out of? Like onyx or something?
No, it's just a globe.
Okay.
It's just
All right.
instead of blue for the ocean, it's black.
You should have lied. I would have been like, yeah, that's onyx. And the
It,
base the
well, I didn't want
base
to
is
flex
marble.
on you, but it's solid obsidian.
You already did. Look at your background, man. Like it's just I don't know. I feel like I should be laying down talking about what's going on in my life. Like that's like a really classy off.
How do you feel about that, though, Dave?
I don't know, man. I think I'm hitting the corona wall, man. Corona wall's real.
I don't know, bro. I feel like I hit it a long time ago, but there's no quit. I mean, the wall hit you, but you got to keep on going. You got to keep
I
on
know.
climbing.
That's the worst part. It's not like you could tap out. Like you just gotta
Right?
keep going. Sometimes you just want to tap out, but it's like no, you just
Not
gotta
a
keep
game show.
going.
Yeah.
It's like a one whole year of Survivor, just in-house Survivor.
You better hope it's one whole year.
Really? You think it's longer than that?
I don't know. We don't. This is all new, man. Who knows? This could be what it is from here on out.
You know what? You making me sad, man. Like first the R. Kelly talk, now you telling me that that this could be my life for a long time, and I never know what somebody look. I might see you in the streets and might not even notice you without your mask on.
Right? Right? With the mask,
Like, oh shit, I didn't even know it was you. You didn't have your mask on, so put your mask on.
it's crazy. I'm starting to recognize people by the jackets they wear instead of what their face looks like, or what type of mask they wear. You know, oh, that's the dude with the skull gator.
Mm,
That's
yeah.
I already had problems remembering people's names and attaching it to their faces. Now I don't even know what the face looks like.
And even if you might have like weird faces too after there's no mask anymore, you go back to this not being able to hide your facial expressions.
Yo, Dave, this is getting so real. So I'm at work and I'm in a in a construction site for the people that don't know.
Yep.
And I didn't want to go back to work. I didn't think they should have opened this place up, and I don't feel like it's safe. And we talked a couple episodes back in your podcast about some of the realities of going out in public in Corona. And so I take some fairly extreme measures. I take off all my clothes before I come in the house. I go right into the shower. You know, I sanitize my hands before I pick up the wipe. Then I wipe down my keys. I wipe down my phone. You know, there's a whole process. When I'm at work, I have the mask. I put the mask on before I leave my vehicle. It's on the whole time I'm there. My water intake is suffering because I'm not eating and drinking enough. But so I basically go the whole day just assuming that I have corona on me. So I never touch my face. I don't itch my nose. You know what I mean? Like I go through some crazy measures. This has been going on for so long that I find myself at home going, you know, I got a little eyelash in my eye and then I have to stop. Oh no, don't touch your face. And then I'm no, my hands are clean. I'm at home. I can touch my face. This is becoming such a thing that it feels like the corona measures are my regular life now. I guess I'm over it.
You're like friggin' Jack Bauer with this shit. And this is how crazy. This is why I tell you my mind's different. So when you said all that, I just see you coming through the door and the dudes with those hazard mat suits on spraying you down, and you just turn around and go through those dudes.
I had one of those.
That's how I feel. It's like your house, like mat suits, like hi honey, and you talking through a little intercom on the mat suit.
I would take advantage of that.
That actually be kind of cool. Might like that. But yeah,
Yo,
man.
my phone is starting to get low on battery. You want me to go grab a cord? I don't want it to cut us off in the middle.
Yeah, we got probably got 10, 15 more minutes. Yeah,
All
go ahead.
right,
Go for
hang
it.
tight. Oh, my cord isn't long enough. Hold on. Damn it. Damn it. Talk about being unprepared, Dave. Hold on.
See, bro, in the morning, you got Mama Styles, Laura Styles in the building. You got Rose.
Back in the building.
You back in?
Got an extension cord. I'm unplugging printers over here. Hold on. Might be.
No, we're all good.
The dark secret about this is it's half vanity because I have an extension cord right here, but I don't want to unplug my backlight.
Yeah, I totally understand that. Understand where you're coming from.
Hit the Bixie button. Out of here. Hi. You got me?
Yeah. You good?
Okay. I'm good.
So I want to take you to this scene right here. So this is when they find out that Squanto was a snitch.
Okay.
So the chief was like, "All right, you know how we do with snitches. Go get Squanto because he got to pay for what he did." So the European dude's like, "I don't know, Squanto's my man." So that's where we at.
He was about to hand over Squanto when an unidentified ship appeared. The alarm it caused delayed Bradford and worried Massasoit's envoys. Angered and impatient, they left. The ship carried 60 Englishmen planning to build a colony near Boston. They abused the Massachusetts locals, initiating a conspiracy to kill the colonists. Warned about the plot, New Plymouth's leaders launched a preemptive strike to save their impudent countrymen. It bought peace for a time. In that time, more Puritan settlers arrived, soon outnumbering the natives. And while the Pilgrims' treaty with Massasoit lasted until the Sachem's death, other Puritans were not concerned with such alliances. Their fanatic religious principles ensured no peace between the two cultures could last. To Puritans, Native Americans were the other, wild, savage, godless.
So why they keep letting these dudes back in? It's so that's that's the third time they let them back in. So the first time was the plague, right? The first time was Corona. The second time, it was the snitch dude.
Yep.
And then they let him back in a third time after that incident.
It looked like they were going to a different spot, though. It looked like the highlighted part where the Wampanoag were south of Boston, and the Puritans were coming Boston and north. But there must have been a tribe up there, right?
Ben, man, well, let me not say you're making excuses. Let me tell you this, right? How the hell do we know from two cities away when some black people were getting killed? Slaves would get messages 2 cities away, like, "Yo, we planning a revolt next month. You down or what?" And these dudes can't figure out that people keep coming through. No one's like, "Yo, listen, there's some dudes coming off." Ben, stop it. They're like, "Some dudes on some ships. If you see those dudes, we shooting." On site. Like, you see those dudes, we shooting.
I don't know. Why didn't they? Why didn't they drop them as they got off the boat?
Especially the whole town. What you want to talk about after you kill the whole town?
Maybe they were more tolerant to immigrants than we are.
I'm Buddhist, and there's a line and everything. You can't take out a town.
Maybe they were just more okay with minorities than America is now with minorities.
That's a sick truth, because I can't fight it without being wrong.
Checkmate.
Entrapment. That's a good one. Well played, sir. Oh man, I'm looking at this like I feel bad, but I'm also like, come on, man, you guys let them come through a little bit. You were too friendly after a while. The first one, that's wild. That could have happened to me. But if I heard the story, like someone's like, "Yo, don't be going next to ships, man." The last town, somebody went next to a ship, they didn't come back.
Turned into a horror movie. We didn't even know what happened. They're just all gone. What you mean gone? Yeah, the whole town's gone.
Some people riding in some mechanism you've never seen before. Like, "Yo, hey, we want to chop it up with y'all." Nah.
You guys stay over there.
I never even seen one of those. What is that? A boat? No. I don't trust you. Well, who knows?
I don't know. Like I said, history gets written by the victors. I'm sure there's a story there. We're just not going to get it because it's erased.
probably right. You're probably right because it seemed like a lot of trusting going on, like the trust
Yeah,
circle.
and the point you're making, that makes no sense for that much trust. I don't care how tolerant you are. At some point, it's usually halfway through the point of you murdering the whole town. Tolerance goes a little out the window.
You know, you can only put your muddy shoes on my couch one time. You know, then things